Hi there guys, another useful video today for beginner and intermediate players, and that is knowing all the notes on the fretboard. It may seem basic to most people, but the truth is players often know only a few notes on the fretboard, mainly on the first 3 frets and some on the 5th and 6th strings, and find the rest from using associations like octaves, other notes they already know, and ways like this. Of course, you are going to say that you are able to find the notes pretty fast, but that isn't what we are talking about here. We are talking about knowing each note just like you know your open strings. I'm pretty sure you don't have to count or find any other association in order to name your open strings. You just know it by heart. So our goal is to know each fret this way. So, there is one way that I found that works really well for that purpose, and that is flashcards. Flashcards are simply pictures of the fretboard with a dot where the note is supposed to be. So, what we can do is this: print pictures or make slides of an empty fretboard, for example like this one, or you can draw it if you like, and at any slide or picture we will draw one note at a time. For example, an empty picture of a fretboard, and this note here, this F note here. That would be one slide or one picture. So, what I want you to do is to begin making slides or pictures for all the natural notes until the 12th fret. You can draw them with your hand, as we said before, or in the computer, or you can use some online software. I repeat it again, it really doesn't matter. Whatever you choose works the same way. For example, after you make them, you will have a friend of yours or simply the computer to show them to you randomly on screen, and you simply have to name the note instantly. Of course, at first, you will rely using the associations in order to name a note. So, if I was presented with a dot on the 10th fret of the B string, this note here, my first thought would be to count below the octave, which I already know is B. So B, and I find A after 2 frets. This is the way most people are doing this, and at first you will use this method or any other associating method imaginable you like to name the note. It doesn't matter. The beauty of this thing is that after a few times of randomly presented with this slide, you will see that 10th fret B string and you will immediately think of A. This happens automatically, and after a few times of testing yourself, it becomes so ingrained in your mind that you don't have to think about it. You will see the fret and you will say it's A. Okay. A software program that I know for sure that has this is the Absolute Fretboard Trainer. Of course, as I said before, you don't necessarily need this. You can do this test manually, or you can draw those slides or pictures yourself. It really depends on you. Okay, so how will you start? First, you would start, as we said before, by learning all the natural notes until 12th fret. Then, try to learn all the natural notes for the rest of the fretboard. That basically happens in a matter of a few weeks using this way. A quick advice, if you don't want to do the same work twice, is to think of the fretboard above 12th fret like a clock. Assuming that you already know your natural notes until the 12th fret, and you want to know the rest, think of 13th fret as 1, 14 as 2, 15 as 3, and so on. So for example, if you already know 3rd fret, first string is G, okay, you know instantly that 15th fret, first string is also G. Okay, and so on, just like the hours of the clock. So, in a matter of weeks, you would already know all the natural notes on the guitar, and that leaves you with 5 more notes to cover. The so-called enharmonic equivalents. Those are a bit more tricky just because they have 2 names. So for example, this note here is G sharp, but it's also A flat. So when you see this dot here, we have to immediately know both of its names. What you need to do is this. At first we have to learn them as sharps, and then after they are ingrained in your brain, we will have to learn them as flats too. Okay, so although those are just 5 notes, make flashcards of them with sharp names, and then make flashcards with them using flat names. Okay, so let's say you know all your natural notes and you want to learn this note next. Make first flashcards with its sharp name, G sharp, and shuffle it along with all the natural notes. Okay, until you learn it. After you learn it and learn all the other notes, all the 4 other remaining sharp named notes, you will do the same process using their flat names. It may seem a lot of work, but it really isn't. You have to really try it. All you have to do in order to learn this is devote 5 or 10 minutes of your time each day. You don't need long hours to practice this, and you certainly don't need to try and memorize stuff. This will happen automatically. That's the beauty of this system. Of course, knowing the notes on the fretboard isn't the only thing required in order to master it, but it is definitely one of the biggest steps. If you do it, you will see that the theory you are starting to learn suddenly will make sense, and you won't stay with just dots, but you will see actual notes, and along with that theory you will be able to make stuff up on the fly, such as chords, arpeggios, scales, things like that. So consider this as step 1 on learning the fretboard. If you like to see step 2, subscribe or post a comment to my channel. Step 2 would be knowing all the intervals visually on the fretboard, because intervals are the building blocks of music. Okay, have fun then with this. It's a little work comparing to the reward it gives you. Okay, let's practice.